What's up YouTube? It's Matt Mrozik, aka MVM3897, with a tutorial for you. So I've been working on this 135th G system L.E.D Mirage and gotten it pretty much almost all pinned. I'd say about 85% pinned. Got a few other things I got to do, but anyway, I wanted to do a tutorial on straightening resin again. I did a tutorial a couple years ago on the Zeku's Vibe that I did for a client. And I'm using a different technique on this because it's easier for this application to do it this way. So instead of using boiling water, I'm going to use a hair dryer. There's a couple pieces on the shield here, and this is that big resin shield that need to go, that peg into here and to here. So I've already done one to show you what it's supposed to look like what it's supposed to do when you fit it together. So this one's already been, I shouldn't say straightened, I should say adjusted, because we're not straightening anything, we're going to adjust this piece to fit. So this pegs in here, and that pegs in there, like so. Say it does. There we go, there. And still need a little wheeling, but in there, okay. So this piece pegs in there just like that. This is what it looked like before I did any adjusting. So if I put this in the bottom here, like this, and I've already got my pins placed and everything, you'll see here that this doesn't line up. I could try to force it in there, but more than likely I'll break this resin. It doesn't line up, so hopefully you can see that. See how far off that is from the hole? So I'm going to show you how I did this first one. And I did it with another piece in place because I need a certain amount of clearance under here for the piece that goes right here. And you can see I've got a magnet in there. And the piece that goes in there is this piece right here. And so I've got a magnet on this end, and there's another piece there. But I'm not going to worry about this part right now. I'm just going to worry about this because this pegs in to this hole. So I can put this in there now. And I have clearance. I've got space there, so if I want to, I can rotate this around. And basically, this doesn't serve any purpose for the kit because it's a fixed pose. It just makes it, I can pose these arms in different orientations to make it sit on the ground easier. So let me show you on the other side again where the problem is. So not only does that not line up the way it should, if I put this piece in, which I have, again, a magnet and a magnet in there, and I try to put this on, I'll peg it down here at the bottom first, right down here, and then I try to peg this where it goes. You'll see that I'm hitting right under there. There's no clearance. So that makes moving this piece possible, but I'll rub paint, and we don't like rubbing paint because it comes off. So again, here you see this does not line up whatsoever. So now I'm going to show you how I adjusted this piece. It's going to be loud because I'm going to be using a hair dryer, but this is an alternative to using boiling water. And the reason I'm using a hair dryer instead of boiling water this time is because I want to be able to have one end pegged in place. I'm going to heat all along here with the hair dryer, and as I'm heating it, I'm going to put pressure on it. And as it heats up, it'll slowly bend into place. And then once that's pegged in, then I can worry about getting the clearance here. Because when I did this first piece, I had this pegged in, I applied heat to this thin spot until I was able to push this into place. Once I got that, I let it cool for a second, and I put this piece in here. And then while that piece was in place, I again applied heat and I twisted it in the direction that I needed to. So this is a two-step process on these pieces. So again, it's going to get loud, and I'm going to try to zoom in because I need to really work on this on the table. So I need both hands free to work the hair dryer, and once you bend the piece, I'm going to bring my tripod down here. Sorry, it's going to get a little shaky for a second. And since my kids have a snow day today, because we're in Texas, and if there's any sense of snow or anything on the ground, we get a snow day. So yeah, so I get another day to work on this. So I'm going to try to do this in camera. And I'm going to start the hair dryer up, so it's going to be loud. So on this hair, it's my wife's hair dryer. I'm going to put it on the put it on the hottest setting possible. And I'm just going to use medium. As far as the power, the amount of air coming out, just medium. It doesn't have to be blowing super hard. So just bear with me with the dryer going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here. I'm going to turn this so you guys can see it. And hopefully I won't knock over the kit, which I did yesterday, which was not fun. I'm actually going to put this on my lap, I think. Get this down lower. Since camera zoom is not good, it falls apart if I try to zoom. Get adjusted again here. Yeah, I'm going to put this in my lap. And we're going to pan down. Alright. Hopefully this is in frame and you guys can see what I'm doing here. Turn it this way a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to try to get this adjusted so it'll fit. So this will take a few minutes, but this is easier than doing the hot water, because if I did the boiling water, I'd have to put it in there and I have to quickly get it in place and without trying to bend it too much and everything. So this is a better alternative. So here we go. Here goes the hair dryer. Cover your ears. So if you can hear me, I'm applying heat on this very thin section right now. I'm holding this part down with my thumb. That's where it needs to be. And I'm going to apply heat to this thin part. And at the same time, I'm applying pressure to where this is. So as this heats up, it'll start to bend easier. I'll have more flexibility. Okay, so now it bent enough already, so I can just, it's not pinned, but it was able to go into that area a little better now, but still not in the hole. So I'm going to continue to heat this really thin area as I apply heat. And I'm going to try to do this without dropping the shield. One way at a time. So as this warms up, I'll be able to get that piece into the hole. And already it's warmed up enough so I can actually get the pin in. So I'm going to turn this off for a second. So that didn't take that long. The other one took a lot longer. Let's see if I can get this into the hole. There we go. Okay, so now both pins are in place, but I'm still not there yet. If you can see, I don't know if you can. I'm going to try not to drop my wife's hair dryer. She'd kill me. This really isn't sitting flat in there, so I'm going to try to heat this up a little more and get that flat. But now it's in there, and again, it's not in all the way, but as I heat it up, I'll be able to get it in more. So here we go again. Again, I'm on high heat, low wind speed. And I recommend doing this with a hair dryer, not a heat gun. The heat gun, more likely you'll just melt your resin and you'll be sorry. So right now I'm just putting pressure down here on my thumb. And I'm just going to heat this up again. And this will kind of take on the twist I needed to take. And I'm wondering if my hole isn't deep enough for that pin, but we're just going to, again, put pressure where my thumb is. And heat this thin area. And just going to kind of let it take its shape. And I'm going to let that, now I'm going to let that cool for a second. This is a little bit at a time. We don't want to do it too much at a time. And it's pretty pliable now. It's moving a lot easier. So I think my hole down in the shield isn't deep enough for this. So I'm not going to worry about trying to get it flat right now where my thumb is. But once I get this to the correct shape, I'll drill that hole a little deeper. Now I can, right now, see if you see here, where that peg's in, it's not in all the way. So I need to give a little bend down this way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply heat again, and I'm going to put pressure where my thumb is and slowly ease that down into position. Again, medium, high heat, medium wind. Now I'm just going to put some pressure. And I think my hole's not deep enough there. I'm just pushing with my thumb. And I'm heating this thin area so it'll get where I need to go. And this resin's getting pretty warm. My thumb is kind of on fire. Okay. So now I'm going to turn the hair dryer on cool. I'm going to cool this where it is so it'll keep its shape, so it'll keep its memory. And then I'm going to drill my holes a little deeper because they're not deep enough for the pins, I can tell. At least this way it'll hold what I've got so far, and I can go back and reheat it and do it again. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and pop this out. And I can tell it hasn't held its memory completely because it's still a little stiff. I'm going to drill those holes a little deeper. Okay, they're not quite deep enough. Got my pin vise. And we're going to take those down more. This drill bit's getting dull. Drilled a lot of resin the past few days. Alright, let's do this one again. And once I get done showing this to you, I'll show you the kit so far. Alright, let's see if that does it. Alright, okay, so that can go flat now. And this can go in. Okay, so now my holes are deep enough. That's nice and flat. So now it's fitting in there pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this other piece right here. That goes, make sure I get this right. I'm going to put this piece in. And while that's in place, I'm going to heat this up again. And right now, even though the piece fits, I'm getting rubbing right there. You can see it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat on, and like the other piece, I'm going to hold down here with my forefinger, and I'm going to push up with my thumb, and I'm going to give this piece a little twist. So in the end, it'll be like that. So let's see if we can do that. Again, here comes the hairdryer. It's going to be loud, and I'll try to talk, and hopefully you guys can hear me while I do this. So now I'm on high heat again, medium wind speed. I've got my thumb holding the piece in place there, and I'm pulling up with my forefinger to give this a slight twist. I'm just going to hold this here and heat it up. And I'm just going to keep pressure on that. Like that. Now I'm going to cool it down. I just pushed my hairdryer to cool instead of heat. And we're going to see if that holds its memory. Alright, so it held it a little bit. It bounced back a little bit, which it does, so you kind of have to overcorrect. I'm going to do it again. I think this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to spin it around, and I'm going to do what I did on the other piece. I'm going to apply heat here, and I'm going to see if I can get a little bend in this part right here. So I'm going to apply heat down there. All right, again, high heat, medium speed of fan. And here we go. Now again, I'm just kind of pushing down my thumb and pulling up on the piece to get it a twist. I'm applying heat down there by my thumb, and it gets hot real quick. So I'm gonna try this a different way so I don't burn my thumb. I'm gonna pull up on it right here and push. I'm pulling up with my fingers and kind of pushing down my thumb, and it should create a little bend in that flat spot where I'm applying the heat. So I'm just going to keep doing this. The nice thing about using a hair dryer is that it won't melt the resin. I bet I could melt it if I kept it there for a really, really long time. But this is just softening it just enough so it'll have some pliability. Alright, now I'm going to switch to cool. I'm going to see if it stays. me cool that down. Now let's see what we got. Bounce back a little bit, but haha, you will see now. It did bounce back a little bit, but you will see now that I have complete clearance there. So I will have no paint rubbing. So now that that's working, I'm going to just go ahead and make sure it's really nice and cool, because you need to heat it up, and as soon as you get it where you want, you got to cool down really quick, and it'll keep its memory. So we're going to keep it on cold and high wind speed. And we're just cooling it down so it'll retain its memory. And once the memory is retained, this piece will come in and out just like it's supposed to. Alright. So let's see if it pops out now. Easier. It may spring back a little bit, which is okay. It comes out. And this piece will eventually get glued in, but right now we're just pinning it so it can, it's in there good, tight. Okay. Oh, my pin stayed in there. I'm gonna pull it out. I thought I had it glued in here, but I guess not. I'm gonna put that back in there. I'll already glue that in a second. So anyway, so now we're gonna see if this works. We're gonna go ahead and put it in here. Put it down here by my thumb. And then we're gonna put this pin in here. I gotta bend it just a hair, but that's fine. And then I still have clearance. Yeah, so once this is glued in, I'll have the clearance I need for this piece to move if I needed to. And I still have it there, so no more paint rubbing. So let me show you what this looks like all put together. This goes there. This will come in here. Oops. I love magnets, but man, they stick to all your tools get stuck to them. That comes there. This little piece comes in under it. And then these fold up. Alright, so that's magnetized there. You can see it rotates, and it's just on a magnet. It's not even pinned. So this will fold up, and this will fold up like so. And that's what it looks like right there. And that's the whole shield pinned. There's nothing else to it. That's all there is. And let me show you what it looks like with Mr. LED holding him. And here's the LED. He's looking pretty sharp. So as I mentioned in my Facebook post yesterday, it took me, see, I was able to work on this kit almost all day yesterday. I had a day to do whatever. It took me all day to get the arms pinned and positioned. And I dropped the hand on the left side twice and broke the fingers off and had to glue them on twice. So that was a bummer. But anyway, the trick was getting this arm pinned, the left arm pinned, in a way that it'll hold this massive shield up, because it's heavy. So the only thing that's holding the shield up is the hand. So the way it works is basically this hand will not be glued into place. It'll be able to rotate. So I can rotate it. I can get the bottom of the shield right by its foot and nice and straight. And then it's basically the weight of the shield kind of wedged in between the thumb and the forefinger there, which holds it in place. And it's actually pretty stable. So you can see it's just a matter of getting that positioning correct. And then it just sits down there on the bottom. And if you look at the photo reference, that's exactly how it sits. So now that I have the shield pinned and that's all done, I have all the other pieces cleaned up here. And it's the armors that go on the wrists. These have these little shoulder panels. They have a mechanism where you're supposed to be able to open and close them. I'm not going to do that because I don't plan on having them displayed open. I'm just going to probably just pin them in place so they're stationary. I have that, and now I have another thing to straighten out. two things to straighten out. Actually, the sword, which is here, it's pretty crooked. Oh, that's the scabbard. Where's the blade? Here's the blade. I have the blade pinned already to one of the handles. But you can see it's got a curve. So I'll do the same thing. I'll put this on the table, heat it up with the hair dryer, and go from there. And I had a couple pieces that were broken pretty bad. These little pieces that go in the back. So this piece was broken in two, and I'm actually missing a piece of resin. I have no idea where it went. So I'm going to have to fill that in with some putty and sculpt it out. I'm not too worried about the back side because you won't see that, but it shouldn't be too difficult. It'll take some time. So I got that super glued together right there. So that one was broken, and another one was broken. This one. Where is it? There's another one that was broken. Oh, right here. It was broken up here, and actually I've got it glued in. You really can't see where I glued it because I've already sanded it down a little bit. So, yeah, so there's the Mirage so far. So hopefully I'll be able to get the thing finished pinning today, and then the real fun starts, the washing and then all the priming and sanding. So all the skirts are magnetized. They're just in there with magnets like that, so it's easy to come apart and stuff. Overall, I'd say this kit's pretty good. I give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. The casting is pretty damn good. It's you know, as you start cleaning up, you see more mistakes, but it's pretty good. I mean, there's not a whole lot I can complain about. But there you go. Thanks for watching, and I hope that straightening tutorial helped you out. So give it a shot, and until next time, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment. Matt Morozik, MVM 3897, signing.